السلام عليكم ورحمة الله تعالى وبركاته. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين، وصلى الله وسلم وبارك على أشرف المخلوقين سيدنا وحبيبنا محمد صلى الله عليه وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين. MashaAllah, today we are very much honored to have this beautiful program, which is will go with the barbecue, and that's why I see a lot of people here. Usually we are not that early for Friday. The good news that the barbecue is ready. It's in progress. Inshallah. What time will start the food? After Maghrib. Guys, it's going to be after Maghrib. Some brothers are very upset already. Okay, I don't want to make it too long. It is very nice to see you. And try always to come, especially on Fridays. We always have the YM, and the young people get to be together, have fun, play volleyball, basketball, right? Some other things also. Sometimes they're sharing whatever could be pizza, gyro. I see Asad, he loves gyro, but no more. The parents said no more gyro. Khair, inshallah. I'm not going to take too long. We have our young, mashallah, brother, Hafiz Zuhaib Waqar. So inshallah he will have a session with you, inshallah. Listen to him. He's coming all the way from Chicago, and he will be going back again to Chicago, inshallah. Hafiz Zuhaib, come in. Ya Allah.
بسم الله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه ومن والاه. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. First of all, I just want to say I'm a New Yorker. We were just in Chicago to study, but I'm a New Yorker by heart. Anyways, since we are a little short on time, because the food's ready, you know, we'll dive right into this. Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam passed away on his deathbed saying one thing. He said, Ummati, Ummati, Ummati. He was concerned about one thing and one thing only. He wasn't concerned about his health. He wasn't concerned about him passing away. How did he pass away? It's a very, it brings tears to the eyes when you hear the story. He's sitting on his bed, and Aisha radiallahu anha is doing his miswak for him. He was pointing towards the miswak saying, you know, give me the miswak. He couldn't even speak. That's how ill he was. And Aisha radiallahu anha is doing his miswak, and you know, he's passing away and he's saying, Ummati, Ummati. He couldn't even speak. Remember that. Yet, he was uttering these words. So, what are we trying to say by this? He passed away. Our Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, our beloved Prophet, passed away with one concern. What is our concern today? The state of the Muslim youth today, right? We should have that same concern that Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam had. If we don't inherit his legacy, who will? It was for the Muslims to inherit. So, there are some big questions. Right? What is the state of the Muslim youth today? Seriously, I know this is such a topic that goes in from one year and comes out the other. How many times have you heard this? What is the state of the Muslim youth today? What is the state of the Muslim youth today? It's deeper than that. It's not just the words. There's another question. What problems are there? What problems are the youth dealing with? What organizations are there to solve these problems? Right? What masajid are offering programs to help? Are these organizations effective? And can they be improved? And what direction are we moving in? So, tackling it on head first, what are the problems of American youth? Just generally, right? Any examples? Who said that? Yeah, drugs. Anything else? Yeah, violence. Violence is one too. Just head down to the Salihin area, you're going to see a bunch of Muslim youth just gangbanging at nighttime. Subhanallah. Illicit relationships, depression and suicide, and all of this stuff is so looked down upon. I see you're laughing. You probably know something. And yeah, this last point I just mentioned about depression and suicide, when you bring this sort of things up to the elder people, they're like, oh, it's probably just that phone you're on all day. This is a serious thing. Like, I'm not saying to use these people as an example, but look at Americans. Like, they have therapists, they have psychiatrists for this sort of stuff, and what do? We say, oh, we bring the phone. It's not always the phone, it's deeper than that. Anyways, this isn't just a Muslim problem, it's a nationwide problem across all regions, ethnicities, and to post some statistics, there is, subhanAllah, around 2 million 12 to 17-year-olds nationwide, just in the States, using drugs in the last month. 2 million youth, 2 million kids. 11% of overdose deaths are related to kids 15 to 24 years old. 11% of those deaths. The average age a person is losing their virginity today is 17 years old. I'm sure barely 17-year-olds are barely married. They're not losing their virginity in halal, they're losing it in illicit relationships. 15% of youth experience depression in high school, during their high school years. And 1 in 5 high school students report being bullied on school property in the last year. What is being done about this? So that's nationwide. That's including non-Muslims, Muslims, everyone. But Muslim-specific problems, what are we dealing with? Engaging in haram relations, having a girlfriend, no guidance in day-to-day activities such as gender interaction and food consumption. Where is your average high school student learning about gender interaction? Like there has been so many times where I'm speaking to a friend I used to know, and I'll just be like, yeah, I'm talking to this so-and-so girl, and I'm like, wait, what do you mean talking to her? He's like, yeah, we be texting all day, all night. And I'm like, do you not know that's wrong? You're intermingling with genders? He's like, oh, no, I didn't think it was haram. But where is he learning? He's not learning from anywhere. And who's supposed to offer it? There's supposed to be organizations, programs, which are held that teach the people, teach our youth that these sort of things are wrong. Now if you tell someone, yo, you're not supposed to text a girl, what's the response? Yo, you're weird, man. You don't talk to girls? What's wrong with you? Like, you know, they'll think you're something else. They'll think, yo, are you not straight? You know? Food consumption. What do we know about eating halal or haram? You won't see a halal sticker sign and just go in and eat. That's wrong, right? You're supposed to know where you're eating from. You're supposed to certify where you're eating from. There are so many certifications out there now, right? You have Hafsa, you have Sharia board, you have Halal, you have all of these places you can get certified food from. But who's teaching us about them? Who's telling us that there are sources where we can get our food from? We don't learn this stuff. And then, again, when you talk to someone, you're going out with a friend who's not so, learned about these things, what does he say? He says, wait, you don't eat from so-and-so? Like, I was talking to a friend the other day, and I'm like, wait, you eat from there? He's like, yo, their food is bomb! And I'm like, sorry. I'm like, wait, that's not a halal place to eat from. His jaw dropped. He's like, wait, what? And I'm like, yo, do you not know about Sharia board? Do you not know about Hafsa certifications, right? A Hafsa certification or a Sharia board one of the two is absolutely free of charge. You just gotta apply, and they come to your restaurant and certify you, right? If you see a Muslim-owned restaurant and they're not getting a certificate for free, then you know there's something doubtful about that place, isn't there? Isn't there? Do y'all agree with me or not? All right. There is no real guidance on the truth. That's what it comes down to, right? Our parents, they might have not focused too much on our upbringing, or not the upbringing, sorry, but the religious aspect of our upbringing. And we might have attended masajid for maktabs and whatnot, but that's where our Islam stopped, at the maktab level, and we never went beyond that. And last but not least, well, it's definitely not the last problem, but there is too much information on the internet. If you have a question, the worst place to ask is the internet. I've seen so many weird things being posted on Reddit and all of these weird places. Like, people are asking Islamic-related questions on Quora and Reddit. That's not an Islamic scholar answering you. That's some random guy behind a screen who's saying whatever the heck he wants. That's not your outsource for Islam. In this masjid, we have Sheikh Ghani here. He is phenomenal. You guys should come here for the post-Isha talks. Those Isha talks are absolutely beautiful, right? Teach you history, teach you fiqh. When Ramadan comes, we have these sources, but what do we need? We need you to come, right? They're all being offered. Over here, in Masjid Salihin, you go to Jamaluddin, they're everywhere. But I prefer Sheikh Ghani's. Yeah. So going back to what we were saying, too much information on the internet. These are not your Islamic sources. Go to scholars, go to certified people, go to your masajid, go to programs. That's where you get your information from. And what do we have right now? What do we have right now? As I said, we have masajid, we have these programs going on, but else do we have besides that? We have this YM, right? We have YM, and we have some other associations as well, which we'll get to later, inshallah. But YM, and I am thanking all of you for being here right now. It is a very, very great opportunity for you to all be here and hopefully take away something from this. So, going back to the YM thing. There's YM. Let's just list the three main organizations. We have Young Muslims, we have MSA, and we have NIST. Right? These are like the three big Muslim associations that people know about. What are the problems with these organizations? Well, nothing is perfect. You're going to have to tackle these problems head on. With YM, this is in accordance with Sharia the most. Alhamdulillah, mashallah, may Allah Ta'ala give YM the tawfiq to continue on this straight line. As for MSA, this isn't always in accordance to Sharia. As we talked about earlier, the gender interaction and intermingling does happen in MSA, and who is there to teach them that these sort of things might not be in line with Sharia, right? We have to learn about these things. We're learning it here, and I'm sure one of us or two of us might be a part of an MSA or have someone in contact with MSA who's going to tell them these things. We are. It's not going to be another person. No scholar from outside is going to go to a specific MSA and tell them this is wrong. You guys are. You guys are the youth. They're not. The older people aren't the youth, right? And by youth, I mean like teenagers, preteens, teenagers, young adults, all of these people. And yeah, MSA is like, NIST is a great program. It's a Muslim get-together, and if that program was in accordance to Sharia, that program would be mind-boggling for Muslims. That would be such a good program. It happens once a year. Right, but the Sharia guidelines are not necessarily always followed. As we know, we've had instances of music there. We've had dances there. We've had crazy intermingling there. Right, these things are not the best in the eyes of Islam. And in general, platforms provide a place for Muslim youth to gather. Right. What are these platforms? These three that were just mentioned, and especially Jumu'ah time. Jumu'ah time is a great place where Muslims gather. This is where we should be coming. This is where we should take away our Islam from and propagate it later on. There's general education, providing more masjid-specific programs. As I mentioned, there are masjid-specific programs. Come here. What days YM take place? Fridays after Asr, right? There's always food here. Always. If you're not going to come for the knowledge, come for the food, and 100% you'll take something away. But there is a statement which is very, very deep. It says, knowledge will not give you a portion of it until حَتَّى تُعْطِيَهُ كُلَّكَ, until you give your entire self for it. So ilm, knowledge, will not even give you a portion of it until you give your entire self for it. It's pretty deep. It's not like in the Western secular education, a PhD is seen as something which, that's the nihaya, that's the end goal, that's the limit. I'm the boss now. That's the mindset which a lot of PhD holders do have. But when we look at it from an Islamic lens, it's beautiful. We know that all knowledge comes from Allah Ta'ala, right? The ayah when أَلَمْ تَرَى أَنَّ اللَّهَ أَنزَلَ مِنَ السَّمَاءِ مَاءً. It's in the 22nd juz. I can't remember the ayah. Maybe one of the Hufam can help me out. In that ayah, Allah Ta'ala says, do you not see the signs of Allah? And then He mentions mountains, caves, and trees in the sky, and all of these sort of things, right? And what is it going back to? Do you not realize what Allah is? Do you not realize that these are the signs of Allah? What does the word realize mean? To have your ilm of something, right? And your ilm is being tied to all of these things. What falls under there? You have geology, biology, and a million other things can come. Zoology, An'am were mentioned in the ayah. All of these sorts of ilm were mentioned, but what wasn't mentioned? You don't have tafsir mentioned in there. You don't have ulum al-hadith mentioned in there. You don't have Islamic sciences mentioned in the ayah to say, do you not see that Allah, inna fi dhalika la'ayatin liqawmin yatafakkarun, right? What does that show? That all of this ilm is from Allah. And if it's ilm that guides you towards Allah, it makes you realize that Allah is the one then that is beneficial knowledge. And on the opposite hand, if a student of knowledge is studying a very, very high level of knowledge, let's say he's studying tafsir, and that tafsir is making him arrogant, it's making him full of himself, it's making him a mutakabbir, then that's not beneficial knowledge. That is not knowledge that is guiding you to the recognition of Allah. So there's a balance on both. It's not just that secular education is bad, it's not how it works. If it guides you towards recognizing Allah, then that's a great thing. And going back to the PhD point, Allah Ta'ala says, وَلَوْ أَنَّمَا فِي الْأَرْضِ مِنْ شَجَرَةٍ أَقْدَامُ وَالْبَحْرُ يَمُدُّهُ مِنْ سَبْعَةِ أَبْحُرٍ مَا نَفِدَتْ كَلِمَاتُ اللَّهِ. Right? قُلْ لَوْ كَانَ الْبَحْرُ مِدَادًا لِكَلِمَاتِ رَبِّي لَنَفِدَ الْبَحْرُ قَبْلَ أَنْ تَنْفَدَ كَلِمَاتُ رَبِّي. These two ayat are showing. In the second ayah, Allah Ta'ala is saying, قُلْ لَوْ كَانَ الْبَحْرُ مِدَادًا لِكَلِمَاتِ رَبِّي. Say, Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, tell the people, if the oceans were ink, for the knowledge of Allah, for the words of Allah, مِدَادًا لِكَلِمَاتِ رَبِّي لَنَفِدَ الْبَحْرُ قَبْلَ أَنْ تَنْفَدَ كَلِمَاتُ رَبِّي. The oceans would extinguish before the knowledge of Allah would ever come to an end. It's not done there. وَلَوْ جِئْنَا بِمِثْلِهِ مَدَدًا. And even if we came with another ocean the size of it, the knowledge of Allah is never ending. The second ayah, وَلَوْ أَنَّنَا فِي الْأَرْضِ مِنْ شَجَرَةٍ أَقْدَامٍ. If all the trees in the earth were aqdam, pens, pencils, right? وَالْبَحْرُ يَمُدُّهُ مِنْ سَبْعَةِ أَبْحُرٍ مَا نَفِدَتْ كَلِمَاتُ اللَّهِ. And you added these 7 oceans to it. Still the knowledge of Allah would not come to an end. The knowledge of Allah does not extinguish. What does this tie back to? It ties back to that PhD point, right? And the recognition of Allah. Ilm does not stop. Ilm is to be sought from anywhere you can. Obviously not the internet, unless it's from a good source. But going back to the main point of today, you have all of these sources. You have beautiful sources. You have scholars. You do have scholars online. I'm not saying that online is a bad place. I'm just saying watch your sources, right? Just as our hadith system, right? The sanad system. It's called the chain system of our hadith, right? All of our hadith. So many modernists, so many Orientalists, they've been bedazzled by our isnad system. The way every chain in a hadith links to another chain, right? They say that this sanad system, how we receive a hadith, to clarify, it's like how we say عن أبي هريرة عن النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم. We're narrating, or Abu Hurairah narrates from Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. We should all say sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. That's a chain of a hadith. So that chain comes down many times, right, till we get to Imam Bukhari and Imam Muslim. There are so many chains, not so many, but there are many chains in between, right? You'll have 5, 6, 7 narrators sometimes, or even more, or even less. But what did this sanad system do? Kind of losing my point right now. The sources point. So the early hadith critics, they absolutely navigated through every single narrator, right? They made sure that they were getting a hadith, they were narrating from the proper sources, and that is why, right now, the isnad system is the most developed, the most authentic chain in the world. No one can deny that. You have so many people who try and, put their thoughts or criticize our isnad system, but it never works. So, what's the takeaway point from this? Sources. Sources are very important. And we know the statement of Ali radiallahu anhu where he said, لولا الإسناد, if the isnad system didn't exist, لقال من شاء ما شاء. A person would have said whatever he wanted to say, right? If we didn't have a sanad system in our hadith system, then a narrator A can be telling narrator B whatever he wants, and we would never be able to certify if Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam ever said that, and say alhamdulillah for this sanad system, because without it we wouldn't have a single hadith. So sources, know your sources. YM is a great place for that. And who is going to make the change in our other platforms? MSA, Mist, who's going to make the change? Who? Us, right? So are we ready for that challenge, inshallah? Alright, so with that we'll conclude. And again, I just really want to thank everyone for coming out here. Jazakumullahu khairan. We hold this every Friday after Asr, and there's always food? Sometimes, but there's always basketball tournaments. Alright then. Alright, وآخر دعوانا أن الحمد لله رب العالمين. جزاكم الله خيرا once again. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
Before we go to the food, probably almost everything is ready. Anyone can check that when I called it? Yeah, just your phone. You could just text message it, Danish or someone. Just quick question, guys. As you were mentioning about wine and masjid, let's be honest, and I really need your help. Me as a person who works for this place, and try my best to bring the people here, especially you. What's the thing that you don't like about the masjid? Or what's the thing that you may like about the masjid? What's the thing that you think if we do it in the masjid, it will bring more young people? Don't tell me dancing, because you're not going to do that. Okay. Don't tell me singing, because you don't know how to sing. So tell me. Big boy. I like your smile. What do you think? Your friends that you have. For example, if you talk, let's go to the masjid. What was the first thing they say? Why do you not like that? Or they would feel lazy to come. Or it's not really something attractive to come to the masjid. If you come up with something new yourself, now plus, oh, you know what, brother, if you do this, probably would help. Anyone? Yes. Basketball. We do have basketball. But people don't come all the time for the basketball. You may have something more interesting than basketball. Yes? More sport, like what? Tennis. Very good idea. How many people here do know how to play tennis? You know how to play tennis? Yes? Yes? Say it again? Basketball? We tried actually, but unfortunately it was the 8th day. We were planning to have that, but we were expecting rain, so we had to cancel that. Plus, to have something like that is not that simple. You have to get a permit from the park department, from the precinct, from many people, for safety and so. So it's not that easy. What else? Something which is, you think it's easy to get, and then you could bring people. Tell me. Abdullah. You know Abdullah, right? No, Muhammad. Okay, Muhammad. So what's the thing we bring you every day to masjid and say to your father, hey, let's go to the masjid. You pay $10. Every time you come up the door, pays $10. You know what you're going to do? You're going to close the door and come back again. 2, 3, 4, 5 times, and we'll be out of money. Yes, tell me, Muhammad. What do you think? What's the thing that you like about the masjid? Anybody? Yes? Don't lie. Tell me the truth. Yes? People can gather, right? Yes. It's a very interesting point. That sometimes we don't have a chance to meet with our friends, especially Muslim friends, right? And we could share things, we could be together, we could just talk. Sometimes we just want to sit and talk and, entertain each other and then exchange ideas and talk about something which concerns you. It could be school, it could be college, it could be anything. The masjid could be a good place. It doesn't have to be second floor, it could be in the gym time, it could be in the basement, it could be around. But just being here in a safe place. A place where, subhanAllah, it's just safe for you. Where else? I don't see that much. Yes? Huh? What? I didn't hear you. Yes? Where else? Come to the other side, it'll be much easier for you. Anyway, yes? You talked about the one. Food is ready? 15 minutes. 15 minutes, yes.
Bring scholars every month or every 2 weeks.
Okay.
And it has to like refreshments on the side. So from that, we try to get more and more people, and then we invite them. From there, we try to get them.
Okay, look what you said. Something interesting probably. So for some of you, you say, if we can invite more young people, scholars, right, people of knowledge, and once you bring them, we'll have like a light refreshment about that. You know what? I'll put that for all of you. Whoever knows any young man who would like to come and then be over here and share some little talking video like Zohaib did, mashallah, today, for 5, 10, 15, 20 minutes, please do it. Go ahead, tell him to come. Right? We'll take care of him. And then we'll have the refreshment. You like samosas? No, he doesn't like samosa. You like samosa? No. Abdelghani likes everything. Good, like that, just like my son. Right? Right. So you're coming with your father sometimes. Or maybe for weeks. Because what? With no exception. Everybody has that. Everybody, even adults. That's why you see most of the time masjid is not full. Because there are many reasons. You know why? One of the major things that does not bring you to the masjid is just the shaitan in your mind. He does not want you to be in this place. He doesn't want you to be in this place. He hates when you are coming to this place. He will do anything for you not to come to this place. I'm sure. This gentleman, when he goes to the gym, he could play for 1 hour basketball. He'd say, you're tired. No, I'm not tired yet. Let another person, no, I'm okay. He could stand up for 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours. Right? Even, let me just have a sip of water and I would come back again and I would play. Imagine. You have the strength to run, to play, to jump, right? Once it comes to Salat, Allahu Akbar. 5 minutes becomes like forever. Yeah, his legs hurt. He's wrong. I said, oh my goodness, the Ibadah took too long. You made it like 10 minutes. 10 centuries. Right? Actually, what is that? Is it because you are not strong? No, it's not. It says, you know who's praying is actually your heart. And who is playing is also your heart. When you like something with your heart, you do. You continue doing it. Even if you are tired, you come and play. My son now, he hurts his, right? He would love to play. I'm sure after another 2 weeks, he will be standing and let me play with one leg. Imagine that. Shaitan doesn't want you to do that. Shaitan wants you just to disobey Allah, just like you disobey. We all know the big story of Adam, who was created, and Shaitan, right? And Allah said to the Shaitan and to the angels, go down to prostrate to Adam. What Iblis did? He refused. Right? He refused. He said, why did you refuse? He said, I'm better than him. That's why. Now, because he refused to prostrate to Adam, he's being kicked out from Jannah. He's being kicked out from the mercy of Allah. So every time, Mr. Suleiman, you're not Suleiman? What's your name? Huh? Ayad? 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 Ayan? Ayan. He's so happy with you. Every time Ayan, he goes for sujood. Now every time you go for sujood, you or anyone, you know what happened to Shaitan? According to the hadith, Shaitan is so mad. He hits himself so hard. Really, he hits himself at the wall, at the door, at the ground, and he cries and he shouts and he says, I was ordered to prostrate and I refused, and I was asked to prostrate and do it. Whenever you do that, you upset the shaitan. You don't like to upset the shaitan, right? You like to make him happy. So whenever we don't go, we don't pray, we make the shaitan happy. Whenever we do the opposite, we make the shaitan angry. And this is the point. It's our heart which brings us to the mission. It's our heart that helps us. Once the heart is pure and it's clean, everything becomes easy. Look, You guys, all of you, no exceptions, you are very young. And you are still very fresh and clean. Please, I beg you, please, keep yourself clean. Keep yourself clean. Because it will help you in the future. The more you get dirty, the more you go far away from Allah. The more you are cleaner, you are closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Even your dua, your supplication, it's more accepted than the adults. Because the more sin you do, the more your dua is not accepted. The more mistakes you do, the more you are far away from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So whenever you are being invited or being called to do something which is, it will not please Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, watching something haram, listening to something haram, walking to something haram, remember, you are committing a sin and you are going away far away from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Are you ready? After Isha? That those guys are not going to come. Sir? Sure. Like what? 2 more minutes? 2 more minutes? Just 2? Okay. Anybody want to add anything? Big Sajid? Big...
Well, you said everything.
That's impossible. That's like Zuhaili just said. He said, if you bring all the oceans and 7 oceans more, and all the trees you make out of them pen and pencils, and you keep writing, you're not going to finish. And then he said, brother, when he said everything. Actually, I said the word everything. Yeah, that's good, inshallah. May Allah make it easy for all of us. Please always ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for help and support. As the Quran says, إِيَّاكَ نَعْبُدُ وَإِيَّاكَ نَسْتَعِينُ. You're the only one that you're asking for help, and you're the only one who could help us. Inshallah. Jazakumullah khairan. Let's get ready to go, and let's attack the food, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum.